I'm a composer and I enjoy composing. I like putting elements together and then seeing how it works together and, having this masterpiece at the end of a composition. That's why when I was studying musicology and I had to study Xhosa music because because I went to Norway, but I wasn't happy because people wanted to know where I come from and they wanted to know the music from home. And I grew up studying classical music and jazz, which is European and American music. I couldn't articulate how, if I sit with you and I say, okay, this is the blues, the structure of the blues like this, and the blues scale and blah, 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 blah. And here are the blues musicians, and I can give you sheet music and give you records. But it was difficult for music from home. It was like, how do I explain Bagbanga? And so that's how that journey started for me when I then studied musicology and Xhosa music.
So yeah, I usually used to check my kids and
I think it's where I come from, like my parents.
Yeah.
My parents are very much into the academic space or education space. Like my dad is into human resources training.
Okay.
So in the training and development side of human resources. And my mother's a teacher. Well, they're pensioners now, but my mother was a teacher since the 70s. So the whole, even how I got into music was through the school. I started singing and then, in the school choir. And then I remember I used to be in the percussion band. I used to play a shaker. And then I wanted to play piano.
Sounds like a remedial instrument. No instrument shakers.
And then I started the piano. It was quite hard to start the piano because they insisted that you need to have a piano at home so that you're able to practice. So I didn't have anything that was good enough to take lessons on. So for a while I waited, and then my parents bought me a keyboard. I remember it was a Casio keyboard, which was really cool. And that's when I started playing music on a serious or more serious level, because I used to then take individual lessons and started reading. And then my dad also sings. He's got this very deep voice, like all of that, So he taught me my first songs. That I played on piano. And I remember the song that he taught me was called Tembi Wam. And he's so knowledgeable of anything historical with jazz in the Eastern Cape.
Really?
Yeah, he knows small things like rehearsals, who was there at a rehearsal, who was the drummer at a rehearsal. How he knows that, I don't know. So I think it's important that I actually sit down with him and document some history of jazz.
Because you could get a lot of solid jazz lineage.
Yeah, exactly. Section A is repeated, then we go to B. I want a stronger B section. When it comes in, we must hear that it's the B section. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I always enjoyed teaching. Even my sister and my cousins, they were always around. I would always just help them with their homework, but in a formal way. Like we'd actually have a school. I stand up and I'm in front of the,
Like you can have a whiteboard and whatnot.
Like proper, The solo section from bar 30 to 34 is repeated until IQ, section D. So which means you play until IQ, the next section. So you play until IQ D, then you start playing the same riff, or you drop out, right, on cue. Okay? You know, with especially the song "Grazing in the Grass," it's a South African jazz musician. Well, it was composed by Phil Human, some Humanian, and then Brahu made it famous. So what a lot of educators are trying to do is get this music in the formal way, you know, get it into music schools so that the children learn and know our music, you know. So the music is notated as best, you know, to the original as possible in terms of approach or playability. So yeah, the kids all learn individually. Like, I don't know if you saw, there was a time where the children like, I can't play this note.
You're murmuring.
I can't play this note. And 1, 2, 3, what's wrong here, guys? You guys look worried. What's wrong? And what happens in individual lessons, you teach the kids the rudiments, you know, all these elements that make up music, you know, like scales, and all the notes that we play in music, that are found in music, are in those scales. So when a child says, no, I can't play this passage or whatever he's saying, and that's why I asked him, is it the rhythm that you are not comfortable with or the notes? He said, no, the notes. Are you talking about the rhythm or the notes? The notes. Can you play your F major scale? What key is the song in? No. F major. Listen to the Barry who's playing your part. Okay? F major scale. E, F. So what notes can't you play? You just played all the notes in the key. All right, just read your parts. I'm like, okay, let's play the scale. Then they can. They played it, you know. So the idea at school is that kids learn and they go as they go with their own grades. And there are also music grades. Music grades is grades 1 to 8 in music grades. And some schools have music departments in high school. And depending on who wants to take it professionally, they then study at university. Now, when you get to university, it's different degrees. Like I studied a composition degree, which was 4 years, and at UCT, and then you obviously follow its own specific syllabus, UCT, VETS, and whatever. And then you become a professional musician or a teacher, you know, whatever. Like I studied musicology, so I studied the studying of the rudiments of music, or the what is musicology? Musicology is the study of music. So you kind of study like I studied Xhosa music and I tried to understand why Xhosa music sounds the way it sounds. The harmonic movements of Xhosa music, or, you know, rhythms that are, you know, that define the style. And other people focus on composition, which is then where you go extensively as a composer. Or we study performance, or we study education. Performance is when they really focus on the performance elements of music, you know. You know, with music, it's so inherent in people. It's so, for instance, I can come with my music degree, right, and say, I studied music. I've got a music degree and I've been playing the trumpet, you know, and I can do anything. And then comes, and I'm a piano kid who grew up listening to, what are the styles that precede amapiano? Ogrom, house, and kwaito, you know. And to him, that's the music he listens to. And then he decides one day, you know what, I want to create, or I want to follow this thing as a profession. And then they start practicing maybe a year or two, whatever. But the style is inherent in them. I can analyze amapiano and say, oh, because I've done it. You know, I can be like, okay, it's designed like this. This is how the piano does. This is the structure. This is the general structure of my piano. And therefore, I can then compose an amapiano song. But what I would miss is that thing, that inherent thing that only those who immerse themselves in the style. So yes, I can compose an amapiano song, but will it be a hit, or will it have that feeling? I doubt it.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Century Mandela, the home of our late President Utata Madiba. This is the home that he lived in between the years 1992 to 1998. So during his presidential years, this was his private residence. Nelson Mandela Foundation started here. The foundation then, after they moved out, they then decided to continue the legacy of Utata. And through that, that's how we came up with the concept of Century Mandela. Currently operates as a 9-bedroom boutique hotel. With that, it also comes with 2 meeting rooms for conferencing, a bar area and a restaurant area. Now all that makes up what we offer to our guests. So you can step in and I'll show you some nice features about this house. So formerly they used to have 5 bedrooms, and out of the 5 bedrooms we kept 3 originals and then we added 6 rooms. Makes up 9 rooms that we currently have. 2 meeting rooms, like I mentioned, for conferencing. And amongst the 2 meeting rooms we have the original meeting room that Utata used to use during his time here. Now the original meeting room is quite important in our space because this is the space where Utata would have these important conversations that even influence some of our political structures today. Alongside some of the original features, we have this brick wall over here. Now this is from some of the original walls that used to stand here. So now during the process of breaking down some of the old walls, we discovered this beautiful brick over here. What's written on the brick is Coronation. The company currently trades as Ikoro Brick. And over here, some memorabilia that's Nelson Mandela related. The other standout feature is this cookbook by one of Tata's personal chefs, Lwanda. We used to prepare meals for Tata for 22 years. Now the meals that you see here, some of the meals in the book, featured in the book, some of the meals that she would prepare for Tata during the time when he was staying here. And the concept of meals that we also serve to our guests are some of the meals that are inspired by some of the meals she would prepare for Tata. What I didn't mention is that every room in our home is named after a name given to Tata or a name he once related to. And alongside that, there are John Mayer paintings attached outside of every room. Now these paintings further give detail to the naming of our room. Some paintings then suggest what the theme of our room is about. For example, downstairs, the meeting room that I just showed you, Dalibok. After he came back from initiation school, he was given the name Dalibok, which means convener of meetings. And it's attached to a painting that's called The Crucial Decision. Now, the naming of the room and the painting are interlinked. We have Utata, which is the name that he's famously known by amongst the South Africans because he's the father of our nation, mainly because of the fatherly roles that he had to play, especially when it comes towards liberating our country. It's attached to the painting called Going Home. Now, Going Home simply depicts a time when Utata was reaching towards the end of his journey, going back to his final resting place, the Eastern Cape. Now, this is the original interior of the house. Amongst the few original features that we managed to salvage. This is where Utata would come and rest, which is his bedroom. This was Utata's bedroom, and it is our presidential suite today. If you've been to other establishments, a presidential suite is a presidential suite because of what it can offer. However, ours is quite unique because an actual president stayed in this room. So Mr. President is attached to the painting, which is quite symbolic of his preference to stay here rather than being at the State House, because this home would allow him to make lost family time. So the children in the painting might represent some of the grandsons that he got to stay with during his time here.
You know, so many people have issues with notating of music. They believe that it kills the essence of the style or the music, and people believe that you have to learn through listening, you know. I mean, the things that separates masters from amateurs in jazz is how well they improvise. So we always have that song with its melody and its structure, and obviously we play that, and then there's this open space where people can improvise, and each band member then improvises according to the style. In the improv section, they say there are no wrong notes in jazz.
Really?
Yeah, so you just find the next nearest note. Or listen, improvising is about expressing an emotion,
Okay.
right? And you can express that emotion however you want. And so there's no right way of expressing yourself. It is expressing yourself. Where you're playing with a big band, there's usually a specific section that is designed for, listen, this is the solo section now, and however long it is, and you have to improvise within 16 bars or 30 seconds type of thing. And then we say, okay, once you're done, the conductor then cues the next section to say, now start reading from a certain bar, and then they all read to the end. But in the parts that have been notated, they have to read accurately, and if they get rhythms wrong, it's okay. The most important part in an ensemble is that we are all playing from beginning to end in time. Mistakes, that's the secret, is to, through your mistakes, you play through.
Let's go for. We could try Take Me to My Love. Take me to my love. I've been waiting on him long enough. I got my hand out to him, lead me to the place where no one can erase that we were there. Let me at my love. Let me loose and I'll go over and above. I can prove it, baby, I'm grown enough to know now what you really want and why and how. So lean me, lean me, oh, lean me. Now, lean. Next verse. Deep in the bottom, that's here. That's like all the things that keep happening to me when I come to Mzansi, man, you know? Deep in the sense that, you know, in the good sense, in the bad sense, in the wild, weird sense, in the complete shock and surprise sense. You know, as an American, as a Westerner, everybody has strange ideas about Africa because of just what we're taught. It's an ignorance really that we learn about Africa, and to come and to be here and to now have friends and like family that people I call family here. My experiences and my perspective has really changed. So that song was just about all of that stuff. And race politics here, how the parallels between and the differences in the US and here. Just a lot of stuff. Do you want to let's go through it real quick and you try to back me up there. It was the summer of '93. I was down to too much thinking, too much drinking. Dishwater brown, tall and fine. You had a simple thing about you. We're doing short films that go along with each song. So they're gonna show like some of them are 2.5, some only a minute. And we show these short films. I'm telling a story about LL Cool J because I grew up in Queens, New York, part of my childhood, and I happened to see him standing at a bus stop. This is the year that he broke, the year that he became who he was, and he like flirted with me on the bus. So there's a little story about that, and then the song is about that. So yeah. And it's real cool, good, at least it's just. Yeah. Young girl, that's what they say. I've been through famine and statistics. Chickle said go holistic. They don't know how sweet you sound when you say.
I've worked with this is more like I used to play with her back in the day. The chemistry is an organic one.
Pray for it, swim short for it. Go out like a whore for it. When I'm down, I'm down.
This is building it, man. All the elements, rehearsals, deciding who's coming in where, what color are you going for, whatever are you going for. Because I think we all know the music pretty much, but now we want to decide, it must speak to the intention of the show, yeah. Okay. Yeah. In African music, there's this whole thing of an oral tradition. You learn by hearing, by mimicking. Yeah. But it takes a lot of time consuming in our world. You have an orchestra and you want to teach them a song. Okay. An orchestra has 60 musicians. 60 musicians who have other jobs, 60 musicians who 5 o'clock
Have other commitments.
I'm gonna go pick up my daughter.
Yeah.
But then now the music suffers because there's no time to do it. So that whole formula of listen, we study, we write music, and blah 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 blah, is important in some sort of way. Yeah. But without trying to lose the essence of what you achieve when you do learn music orally. When you learn it orally, it's you feel it more than I'm just gonna read it.
You have to read it on the script, yeah.
When you're reading it on script, it's pop and it's done. So there's an essence lost in it a little bit.
Okay.
That's why it's important to. That's why jazz is so cool here, because you have that thing. Yeah, listen. Here's the formula, but interpret it. That's where you can go with that oral tradition nuances that the African music or the African philosophy of learning is. You get it.
So LL Cool J's also, you heard it, the superpower one. It's going to be bluesy, but more funk than blues. Yeah, we did all of them then, except for Deep in the Bottom. So because Deep in the Bottom, that's all there is to it. that's gonna get pretty fucking boring after a while. That's all it is.
So then that's why he'll have a nice space.
It'd be nice for somebody to. I should maybe just do the version, like the record that they want to hear. They might want to dance it. Like they're like, "What the hell? We came here to dance. What is this shit?"
Yeah.
Can we dance at least once? Because it either is working or it's not, and we just don't have time to make it work. So we'll just wing it. And yeah, we're just gonna work it out. If it works, it works. If it don't, we'll do what works.
When you're going to study music, you're either going to study classical music or you're going to study jazz, and that's been for decades and decades and years.
That's the precedent, yeah.
So now, over those years, there's a nice formula that's easy to say, listen, if you want to study jazz, here's a 4-year period that you can achieve your degree, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, and you're going to learn your scales, and you're going to learn this, going to learn the history. Everything is documented. Yeah, well.
And so that's how that journey started for me when I then studied musicology and Xhosa music. And the requirements were that you go into the field. Going into the field is now you go sit and in rehearsals and interview people that play specifically Xhosa music. I remember in Cape Town, I went to Enyanga and I went to different parts where I sat with Omama who were playing like Wadi, Amatulongo, And yeah, so I had to try to immerse myself and understand the music from inside.
South African music education lacks literature or anything in the structured way for kids to learn, like fundamentals now. You can go to the States and everybody can learn the blues. There's billions of books, So the other band or project is me trying to explore the foundations of South African jazz or South African popular music. Like if you go back to Marabi. Marabi is the sound, everything you're hearing today is Marabi.
Really?
Yeah. I'm talking rhythmically, I'm talking harmonically. Everything stems from there. When you talk of popular music, your drums, your amapianos, house music, anything that gives you that sense that, okay, this is music from South Africa.
Yeah.
That's Marabi. It's like saying the blues when you talk of American music.
American music, yeah.
The blues, Ipagwe rock, Ipagwe, it's like a tree from blues. So now we're trying to do that with South African music education. How do we ensure that when kids want to study music, or when they do study music, all of these things are readily available so that our music can have that thing, in terms of music education, and write a book on it, like a sheet music book, so that it has all the rudimentals of how to study the music. The art of 145, the sound of South African music. Yeah, the sound of South African music is 145. Because I know music education wants to go back and sit in Marabi. Try to teach kids music. Let's teach them Marabi, but it's good to teach them even from Amapiano and show them how it goes all the way back.
And regress backwards,
Well, some people are against what I'm doing. They say, you can't write African music. You can't teach African music from a book. But I know because of how I've been molded and how there's this space that it doesn't exist in.
Thank you so much and good afternoon. Have a great evening. Have a great supper. We're doing it a great lunch. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.